So, Jonathan, tell us where you're from originally and give us a little bit of a story about your background and what got you into music and just tell all.
So I'm from Chester, Virginia originally, home of a lot of bluegrass music and stuff like that. But actually, how I got into music, my great grandmother used to babysit me a lot when I was younger, and she would always watch PBS on TV. And it was always either the symphony or it was bluegrass or Bill Gaither Homecoming or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, something about the fiddle and the violin just always made her light up. And that just piqued my curiosity.
Right.
She would always watch this guy, Andre Rieu, who was like, big back then. He'd come with his symphony and he'd play all this classical music.
Classical stuff.
Yeah, but he'd play it and he'd always be the front man, and everybody was so happy, and I just loved it. So I started asking my mom for some fiddle lessons or some violin lessons at the time, and she actually made me ask for 2 years before she...
Really?
Because she was afraid that it was going to be something that I would, she'd pay a lot of money to rent a fiddle or get lessons.
Sit in the closet. Right?
Yeah, and then 2 weeks later I'd be done with it. Mm-hmm. But 2 years, and we were finally going by a violin shop, and I was like, please, can I do this? Mm-hmm. And so... she took me and she's like, all right, I'm going to buy you a violin and you're going to take lessons, and I need at least a year out of this. You're going to do it.
Give you
Give me a goal to set. And she never had to ask me to practice or anything. I always just loved it. Went through youth symphonies all through middle school and high school. And then in high school I started doing stuff with a rock band, because they actually had a rock group come in.
So that's pretty different, right?
To play with our orchestra.
Yeah.
And so they had some electric violins, and they were trying to get us to see that we could do other things other than just classical.
Right.
And that really blew my mind. And so I was practicing for one of their pieces, and because I was going to be a soloist for this thing. And the lead singer heard me practicing in a room kind of like this, actually, and she was like, hey, so my band is doing this thing, like a show this afternoon. Would you want to come and just see if you can jam and fill in?
Yeah.
And it ended up being a great thing. So we ended up vibing really well, got through the jam, and then come to find out in a couple of months, almost half a year later, they were planning on a huge trip to China, where they were going to take their band over and play over there. And so they asked me if I wanted to come along with them.
Oh, wow.
That was
your first
That was my first tour.
To China. Wow.
And so
How old were you then?
This was almost senior year of high school, senior year of high school. Crazy experience. Got bit by the bug of commercial music. And I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. This is, so far it's like just classical was my world, and that's all I wanted to do.
Right.
And then I did have a place in my heart for bluegrass and stuff like that, but I was still more the classical route.
Yeah. So we have a lot of bluegrass viewers on my channel.
Yeah.
And there's, as we know, there's a lot of influence with, blues and the Louisiana, music and jazz and Cajun, all that kind of wraps up in bluegrass. Yeah. So what are you doing here in Nashville? Because you just moved here, right? Not that long ago?
Well, actually, so I came here